the only legitimate and fully consistent world and life view is the one that has Jesus at the center. It's the outlook of the one whose eyes have been touched by grace. You see, the truth about God's created order and all its variety and glory revolves around the truth about Christ. He is the truth with a capital T. He is the light that enlightens every man in the world to understand the world that he made. For he is, John chapter 1, as the Logos of God, he is the organizing principle of the whole created order. He is the light who shines to give revelation of the mind of God relative to all that exists. Herman Bavinck put it like this. He said, revelation, he's talking about God's revelation to us. Revelation, while having its center in the person of Christ, in its periphery extends to the uttermost parts of creation. He said God's revelation does not stand isolated in nature and history. He says it does not resemble an island in the ocean. It's not like a drop of oil upon water. Rather, he says, with the whole of nature, with the whole of history, with the whole of humanity, with the family and society, with science and art, God's revelation in Christ is intricately connected. He said the world itself rests on revelation. Revelation is the presupposition, the foundation, the secret of all that exists in all its forms. The revelation of God in Christ, through Christ, and about Christ. It's the secret of all that exists in all its forms. You say, says who? Herman Bavinck? Well, yeah, but also Paul. Because, Colossians 1:16, all things were made by him and for him. For him. All things exist for him. He is Lord of all. And so as we look at the world around us and observe it, the key to seeing its purpose is to see it in relation to Christ. We need to have our eyes opened by Christ so that we can see the world in relationship to his creative and redeeming grace. The key to understanding history is to see that its pinnacle is in the cross and resurrection of Jesus and that its end is in his second coming. The key to understanding philosophy, the love and study of wisdom, is to see that in Christ are hidden all the treasures of wisdom and knowledge. The key to seeing the truth about physics is to see that natural laws were all spoken into existence through Christ the Word, and they proceed from the mind of the triune God, and they are providentially upheld by the Word of the Son of God's power, Hebrews 1:3. The key to understanding mathematics is to see that the complexity and coherence of its logic is a reflection of God's wisdom epitomized in his Son, who is its creator. The key to understanding science is to see that it can only be done by presupposing the constancy and predictability of the natural world as it is sustained by and coheres in God's Son, in addition to presupposing the validity of inferences and deductions whose rational principle is in Christ, the Logos. Because constancy, predictability, and rationality all have their source in Christ. The key to understanding marriage is to see it as a picture of Christ's relationship to his bride, Ephesians chapter 5. The key to appreciating art is to see it as a created reflection of the beauty of God's Son, whose glory is ineffable and infinite, and who reveals divine beauty through the perfect creaturely medium of his humanity. And yes, speaking of the whole of revelation, whether special revelation or general revelation, it all has its center in Christ. And that's what he opens our eyes to see by the grace of the gospel. No part of general revelation, no aspect of general revelation can be seen clearly or appreciated fully unless it's seen in the light of God's revelation of his Son.